One. Hi, I'm Paul Little, President and CEO of the Pasadena Chamber of Commerce, and it is my pleasure here today to talk with board member Lynnelle Bryant of Mass Build. Lynnelle, how are you?
I'm fine. Thanks a lot for having me.
Well, great. I appreciate your doing this. It's one of the more popular things that we do. The members actually like to get to know the board members a little bit. So this is a chance to do that. So if you want to, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. So my name's Lynnelle Bryant. I have been a resident of Pasadena, Altadena for the last 30 some odd years. My husband and I have an architecture and interior design firm here in Pasadena since 1996. Interestingly enough, he used to be a board member of the Chamber of Commerce, and I am now on my second year with the Chamber. And yeah, I enjoy Pasadena, love the work that we do. We do quite a bit of architecture and interiors for multifamily housing, schools, offices, all commercial, and we just enjoy it.
Okay. Well, it's a good way to start. I wanted to hear a little bit more about sort of mass build and the kinds of projects you do, some of the things that maybe we could see driving around LA
Okay.
work done. So if you could tell us a little bit more about the company, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, so it started in 1996, and we focused at the time primarily on building services with some architecture, and then since then developed more into a full service architecture and design firm. We do some general contracting on a smaller scale, and then we also turnkey design. So one project in particular that you may be familiar as you're driving around Pasadena is at 751 North Fair Oaks. It's just north of the intersection of Orange Grove and Fair Oaks, and that is a concrete masonry building that we built and developed back in 2004. It received the Pasadena Beautiful Design Award. It's a CMU building, which at the time was very innovative and has a curved roof, very beautiful building, which now is owned by a law office. We've also worked on quite a few housing projects here. We have one on Park Street in Pasadena, which was a renovation of, oddly enough, maybe 4 or 5 6 bedroom apartment units that we converted into multiple units from uh, studio units up to the 6 unit, and then did some landscaping there. We have we worked on some multifamily housing and outreach for Heritage Square, the first part of the project, which is just north of Orange Grove on Fair Oaks. And we've done some renovations for some of the Pasadena Unified Schools, Altadena Elementary and Elliott, when it was Elliott back in the 1990s. And we just recently finished doing the interior procurement and design and finishes for Salvation Army's new Project Hope, which is right there on Walnut and just one block east of the lake. So we're doing quite a bit, and Pasadena is our home, and we're lucky to have as many projects as we do here.
Um,
It is because it started out as an office building. My organization, American Society of Interior Designers, had rented an office space from them. We were paying, I think, $100 a month, and the building came down. And I think their initial plan was to just do a food pantry because that's what their offices were being used for. And the city of Pasadena talked them into uh, considering housing in addition to this full service food pantry. And I'm glad they did because the need is so great. So great project.
yeah, and it's a great organization, the Salvation Army. Um, the design building is a complicated process. What do you like the most? What's your favorite part?
I problem solving is probably my favorite part. Working with clients to uncover what it is that they're really wanting. You know, when they see a piece of land, when they're looking at their building, when they're discussing their home, uh, sitting with them and helping them to go through all the needs and their desires and the things that they may not give themselves permission to express. Uh, Working with them to fine tune all those little details, and then we work on how to uh, how to bring that to life, how to make it address all their needs, and really we consider ourselves a solutions company. So we call ourselves Massfield Design Solutions, and our goal is to help you find a solution to really give you full use of whatever it is that you're using, and address the needs, and really not only take care of you for now, but 5, 10 years down the road. So I just love that. It works
Great.
out very well.
Okay, great. It sounds fun. Having been on the other side of the processes where the problems aren't always a fun thing. But the solutions can be actually very interesting and innovative sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. It forces you to think of something that maybe you hadn't thought of, and the end result could even be better than you started out.
Yep. Okay. Well, you joined the board a couple of years ago, as we mentioned. We appreciate your participation. You're a very active board member with terrific ideas. So we appreciate that very much. What made you decide you want to become part of the chamber leadership team?
Well, initially I had not. A friend of mine had invited me to the breakfast, and I thought, I didn't. I don't even know that I understood that the breakfasts were going on, because, as I mentioned, my husband had been a member, and we tried to. Let me fix this. Charles had been a member of the board, and we tried to not overlap since we work together. We've got to give each other some space. So the chamber was his thing, and I leave it alone. So when my friend had invited me to one of the chamber mixers, I thought, oh, and Charles said, okay, you can take that on now. And so I really like the the chamber has helped us so much with the training sessions that you guys have done over the years. I've taken advantage of every class that you had. I mean, even when it comes down to the sexual harassment, the mandatory things that we have to do in business, I sign up for all of that. It's just so much easier. It's such a great resource, and I like the idea of being able to bring that resource to others. I don't know if everybody completely understands the value and the purpose of the chamber, and I think Emmanuel had made a joke at one of the meetings, and he says, the slogan should be, at the Chamber of Commerce, we're all up in your business. And really, I think that really puts the nail on the head. The chamber really is the other part of your business that's supporting it, and I want to be a part of that.
What do you hope to accomplish as a board member?
I've been trying to figure that out. I kind of just sat in the background to see how it's operating and see where I could, uh, what value I can bring to it. I like the idea of uh, as providing the resources, the workforce development, the additional support, and making our members aware of the resources that the city provides that our tax dollars already cover. And and that's kind of where I want to see myself, is understanding those, and seeing how I can get that out to our members so they can take advantage of all that stuff that they're already paying for.
Yeah, exactly. And you chair the Workforce Development Committee,
I do.
I should have mentioned earlier, which we've sort of been in the process of reevaluating to try to see how we can make it more of a value to basic membership. So
I think so too. I'd like to sit down and really think about ways to make that, to activate that for our membership.
Great. Well, just, on a, talking about the chamber, how do you think the chamber's doing? Um, you know,
I think it's doing fine. I think it's poised to really have another life. I think the chamber, I think everything pre-COVID is a whole different animal than what it is post-COVID. And I think we're in that space right now where we have, if we're willing, we can reevaluate and see what it needs to do to reflect how our goals and mindset has changed in the last 3 years. I can even see that in working with my clients, that the clients, the way we interacted before 2020 is completely different than how we're interacting with one another now. And if we're willing as a chamber to evolve and understand how people are seeing business and what their needs are right now, I think we can really tap in and be that, be that support system and really grow. Uh, I just see we're actually on the precipice of something great if we embrace
wow, that's great. Thank you, Lynnelle. I
it.
appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. The thing, that I appreciate honestly, in board members is, you know, pushing us to be, more than we have been, pushing us to be better at what we're doing, pushing us to, sort of better serve the members of the community. And I think you do that. So
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Mhm.
Thank you. Anything else you'd like to add? Anything?
Uh, I think it's time for each one of us to reach out for someone else and bring them in. People who might have said before, chamber doesn't it doesn't speak to me. Then maybe what we should say, well, let's bring you in and see what it is that that chamber needs to speak to you, because there's probably someone else who agrees with you. And and this is an opportunity to bring in some new voices and to really work in and just create what this new environment should look like for businesses. Just even talking about how WeWork came on the scene just like gangbusters a few years ago, but with a model that, it was a wonderful model, but everyone could use it, and they were not thinking like that, and because they were a little too narrow in their vision, they're in the position that they're in right now. And I think being open to other ideas and inviting those other ideas, and I think that's really what the hard work is now, is letting people, finding the way for people to understand we've got, we want you to share in making this thing great. So let's see what we can do with that.